I think that's for the 2-1.
Hello one, hello all, and here we are, folks, Federico Gymnasium. It is playoff time. First Bulldog team to step on the court for the playoffs here. We have 4 teams this fall that made the postseason, folks, and here we go with some ladies volleyball action. Huge win versus Barrington in the last match of the season. Final set, 5th set. 18-16 victory, and that's why they're playing at home here today, hosting St. Ray's. I am the voice, Greg Morano, alongside producer, owner Shane Belanger. We have Lisa and True behind the lens. We are Westerly.live, Westerly.radio, and it is playoff time, folks. I am excited. We got soccer action this week. We got football action this week, but we got volleyball right now. This is a best of 5 matchup. Getting some details about the team forthcoming, but we're about to get started. Number 9 for the Saints, Olivia Harris. She's the primary setter. I was watching her in the pregame. They have 2 players they use primarily setting. They finished the regular season at 6-9, the Saints did. Got a couple balls thrown across the court here, and we're waiting for the whistle. And we are live, folks. First serve is going to be handled by Arnold to Bruno. And that's going to be tapped over by Oth. And the spike attempt for the Saints is first point on the board. Will go the way of St. Ray's. So the Bulldogs, again, a team who uses its entire lineup from freshman to senior. They only have, I believe, 4 seniors on the squad, and that's their 4 captains, Dina Arnold, Julia Giancarelli. We'll get to the other 2 in a moment. And knuckleball serve, that's handled by Storr. Oth with the bump. And Federico, senior captain, gets it over. Did she hit? No. Didn't hit the net. Nice job by number 21. And then the Bulldogs even things up at 1. Number 9, Alex Storr for the Bulldogs serving, junior. And I could say multi-sport athlete, but that would be the case for just about everyone on this team. And the first serve just over the net, a line drive. Decent job handling it by the Saints. They're forced to just dump it back over as Storr with the set. And Federico tries to put it down. Nice dig by the Saints. And it's deflected, and it's going to be out of bounds, and that's going to go for the Saints, 2-1 the score. We're in a race to 25, win by 2, folks. So this isn't officially a play-in match. And this Bulldog team, folks, we brought to you every game we covered this year in Federico Gymnasium was an unbelievable match. I believe we covered 1 3-0 sweeps, and every other match was 5 games with this Bulldog team. They were winners in some, they were losers in some. Heartbreaking versus Charo Arnold, and it's going to go forward to Federico, who dumps it over. And soft spike attempt, dug out by Arnold. Off, Federico, spike hits the net and goes down. It's going to be a point for the Saints. Carry on the Bulldogs. That'll make it 3-1. So the Bulldogs, like I was saying, have lost a few 5-game heartbreakers by 2 points deep, 20-18, 18-16. If any of those had gone the other way, they wouldn't have had to play this play-in game. Storr with the set to Federico. They're both active, and that was a nice spike attempt by Federico, but the whistle on, and it's going to go against the Saints. So point, nice offense by the Bulldogs. Just starting to get in sync here. Federico, the popular name early, the score 3-2 here, and the freshman, number 16 for the Bulldogs, the junior, Riley Peliquin. And the set by the Saints, spike attempt across the court, and the Bulldogs can't dig it out, and that'll be a quick side out, 4-2 the score. And a substitution for the Saints. Bulldogs as well. Bulldogs definitely have height on their team as well as athleticism. They're capable of doing a lot of damage in this playoff. I don't believe we're going to see them here at Federico Gymnasium anymore, so they want to, especially the seniors, finish their career here with a good memory, and that is a spike by Bruno. The Saints can't handle it. Quick side out for the Bulldogs and the point. 4-3 the score. This production brought to you in part by Wireless Zone, your Verizon authorized retailer located in Dunn's Corners next to Duncan. Cell phone sales, service, and repair. Here we go, folks. 4-3, game 1, playoff action. Federico Gymnasium. And the back line set by the Saints. Spike attempt blocked at the net by the Bulldogs. Nice job by Emily Caracciolo and Lila off. And the Bulldogs will take the point and knot things up at 4. Check out the replay. That's great net defense. I do believe it went off Oss' hands. Caracciolo right next to her. Caracciolo can play across the board at any position here. And that serves as a quick side out for the Bulldogs on unforced error. Can't have too many of them in the playoffs. That is for certain. Number 13 for the Saints, Olivia Di Macedo, another setter. With a unique approach, the jump serve, and the Bulldogs bump it straight overhead, spike down. And they take care of a little mistake on the Bulldog side, the Saints do, and they put it down hard. The dig attempt went just over the net, a little bit too far on the Bulldogs. So the Saints will take a 6-4 lead. And forward spinning, nice handle by off the net it goes again, so a little bit too deep on the dig attempt by the Bulldogs. That'll make it 7-4, the biggest lead of the day either way. And the approach. Different spin, handled by Gingarelli. Store, Caracciolo, and whistle's going to go. And the set was no good on the Bulldogs' end, so that's going to make it 8-4. And a timeout by the Bulldogs. First timeout of the day early, 8-4 the score early here in game one still. Just first sense of momentum here in Federico Gymnasium has gone in the way of St. Ray's right now. This is playoff time, folks. Anything can happen. I don't care about the regular seasons. I said their record once. The Bulldogs finished their opposites. Bulldogs finished at 9-6 in the division. The Saints finished at 6-9, and you can throw it all out. I do believe home field, home court advantage does exist. That's why I brought up the getting past Barrington on October 28th. The Bulldogs quietly won a 5-set match, 18-16 in the 5th set, and that's why we're here today for the play-in game. The winner of this match heads to Cumberland, the number 3 seed. The Bulldogs faced Cumberland on the 12th of October, and they lost 3-0. Teams break the timeout. And looking for 4 in a row here, De Macedo. Coach Beal's squad does extremely well out of timeouts. There's the whistle. And we're off. Handled by Gingarelli. Bump set by Storr to Caracciolo. They sort of have to dump it over. Don't get into much of a final hit. And soft spike attempt dug out by Bruno. Over the net it goes, though. Storr keeps it alive. Bruno, no right-hander directly over the net. The overhand gets down, and the Saints can't return. A much-needed side out, and that's the point out of the timeout that the Bulldogs are so good at. As you see on the replay, Summer Bruno is not only athletic, she's extremely strong. She really is. She's definitely a powerful player in both sports she plays. And the serve here, number 25 for the Bulldogs, Abigail Donato, the primary setter. They're able to return it, and Arnold. And that'll be to Donato, and Bruno puts it to the back line of the Saints. And the set at the net, and they don't handle it, mishandle it. And that'll be a Bulldogs point, and they're back within 2 of the Saints. Back and forth we go. And like I said, the coverage of the Bulldogs this year that we've had every game has been back and forth. I'm prepared for 5. I'm excited. It's playoff time. 3 playoff games. That's an ace for the Bulldogs. First of the day. And they're excited they meet at center court as they do. And they trail only by 1 as Abigail Donato, number 25, the sophomore center for the Bulldogs at the helm. The whistle and nice serve again to the back line. And they can't handle it. It's an ace, and they are doing exactly what the Bulldogs are doing. They're unable to control the dig from the back line off the serve. And from there, the Bulldogs have tied things up at 8. Race to 25, win by 2. Line drive serve, that one a little bit too low, side out, but did erase a 4-point deficit, changed momentum completely, so timeout successful for the Bulldogs. The Saints will serve with a 1-point lead. We are live from Federico Gymnasium, our first taste of the playoffs. And line the serve to the back end. Gingarelli handles it. Donato bump set. And that's going to be to Bruno, who puts it over, handled by the Saints. Nice bump set, and they jump a little too early. Missed time to jump for the second time. Bulldogs knock things upside out, and it looks like Summer Bruno will take the service. Number 13 for the Bulldogs. So 3 Bulldog sports will be in action this week in the playoffs, folks. I know they call this play-in matches. If you're playing a game and if you win, you move on, or if you lose, you go home. That's playoffs to me. Play in, play out, play whatever. Got to win. And that's another unforced error. That's the third one of the day for the Bulldogs into the net, And you can't do that too much. Can't give them much. 10-9 the score. St. Ray's will serve with the lead. We are in game 1. The serve. Line drive serve. Handled by Peliquin to Store. Set Donato back to Peliquin. And the left hand, they handle it. And the Bulldogs right at the net. Diving, and you can't handle it, and that's a point for the Saints. This production brought to you in part by Tim Killam for Westerly School Committee, Lori Whitecall for Westerly School Committee, Kevin J. Lothar II for Westerly Town Council, and Caswell Cook for Rhode Island State Senate District 38. The serve, handled by Pelican. Donato. This time it's going to go far into Store, and it flies deep, and that'll be another point for the St. Ray's Saints. 12-9 the score. So I guess if anyone's controlling the tempo here early on in game 1, it's the Saints. They have a lead. The Bulldogs come back. Then they regain the lead. The Bulldogs come back, and here we are again. Handled by Arnold. Miscommunication on the side. They're forced to dump it over. Caracciolo does a nice job. And the Saints right back into their offense. They've been doing a good job. Bruno up into the rafters, and that's going to be another St. Ray's point. St. Ray is able to get a set, whether it's an overhand or a bump set, every time. It seems like almost every side, and that's the difference. They're getting into their offense comfortably more often than the Bulldogs are. And back to a 4-point advantage, 13-9. The server for the Saints. Tell you in a minute when I catch the number. And Arnold dig. Handled by Donato a little bit deeper than they'd like. Pelican into the net. All right, and a little bit of sloppiness here for the Bulldogs, and that is going to make it a 5-point advantage. 14-9 to score, and another Bulldog timeout. A little bit too much momentum. Again, the last time there was a 4-point advantage. The Bulldogs erased it out of the timeout, and now it's a 5-point advantage again, and the Bulldogs are forced to call their second timeout. After a couple unforced mistakes by the Bulldogs, it's early. It's a long night, best of 5. You always like to jump on that game 1. That's your home court advantage. It's pretty much neutralized if you give away game 1. There's a good crowd on hand. Like I said, on Thursday, we're going to be out at Salo at Jerry Field, and the Bulldogs, 12-1 regular season division title, is going to go on the line versus Cranston East. That game will start, I believe, at 6:30 p.m. We'll be bringing it to you live. Check our website for the official time. I probably have it in front of me somewhere here. Regardless, the division champ, Lady Bulldogs, will be on the field, and then if they win, the entire division is forced. They go to a neutral site. The next round is played at Johnston. So Thursday night's going to start at 6 p.m., folks. Not 6:30, 6 p.m. Lady Bulldogs soccer versus Cranston East. And like I said, Lady Bulldogs riding a 9-game winning streak, 12-1 division record, and divisional champion. And first serve out of town, a nice serve handled by Pelican. It's an ace. Can't get it up high enough for anyone else to get to it. So out of the timeout, advantage goes to St. Ray's. 15-9 the score. Olivia Harris serving. She's another setter for the Saints, and once I get her name, she puts it in the net, and that is what the Bulldogs needed as they meet at midcourt, 15-10. Slowly creeping our way to 25, but until you get to that 19-point range, I don't start making a big fuss about it. Especially not with this Bulldog team. Into the net again. That's number 5. And that's the deficit in this game, ironically. Excuse me, deficit 6 now. But 5 into the net versus the Saints, I do believe, have 3 themselves. Nobody's perfect, and you're going to have some. But early on in the first game, the Bulldogs have not been able to get into a rhythm yet. And serve handled by Tenuta, and that's going to be pressed away by Federico. And that's inbounds. Nice spot by the senior captain. And she is an artist at times where she places it. Knuckleball to the back corner. Nobody's there. That's great court vision right when the Bulldogs need it, 16-11. As the Saints were on a pretty decent run right there. And serving, it'll be Alex Storr for the Bulldogs. And I'll go deep, and they let it go out of bounds right back at it. So that's number 6 or 7 for the Bulldogs, whether it's in the net or deep now that I think about it. They had a couple go deep, so maybe 7. 17-11 to score. Got to tighten up, still plenty of time to do it, though. Number 17, if they have one, it's Grace Rochette, senior middle hitter for the Saints. That's why I said you throw away regular season records. Handled by Auth, and then finally put over by Federico, and they can't handle it. Are they going to bring it back? Nice job. They do off the rafters, and no, they can't quite get it there. Rafters, home court, literally benefits the Bulldogs there physically, whatever you want to call it. Set to serve, Riley Pelican, number 16. The junior for the Bulldogs will stay right on this court right through the winter, and that serve is going to side spin all the way out of play again for the Bulldogs. They give it right back, and now it's getting towards crunch time here in game 1, and that's way too many unforced errors from the service position, whether it's into the net, whether it was deep, and now whether it was to the side. That's really the only adjustment, and the dig, that's another ace. The opposite end of the spectrum for the Saints, who come in here to Federico Gymnasium, folks, and they neutralize the crowd on hand at the moment, 19-12. 7 is a decent little separation. Quick side out would be the answer here for the Bulldogs. Nice serve, dug out by Arnold, all the way to the other side. Immediately put it back to a spot the Bulldogs can't get to. Between about 4 players, frustration, 20-12, 8-point Saints advantage, game number 1. Best of 5 match. And that is another ace for the Saints. Folks, it's the playoffs. It's when you got to tighten up. This is when it all comes out. If you win, you move on. If you don't, your season is over. If you're a senior, your last game here, unfortunately, doesn't go the way you want it to. And that goes off the net and it makes its way over perfectly for the Saints, and they are literally getting the bounces now. 22-12. They need only 3 more to capture game number 1. The Bulldogs worked so hard in Barrington to earn this home playoff match. And the ball's going to roll to the Bulldogs side. And the Bulldogs will get a point for that, and it'll be a side out. Whatever that may have been, I missed it myself, but they're going to take it. 9-point deficit, but the Bulldogs need to go on a run. And no one better than Rachel Federico. Nice serve. Handled well, got into their offense again, tipped at the net, and the Bulldogs can't return. An immediate side out and point for the Saints, who are now only 2 away. 23-13, 10-point. Convincing advantage versus this home Bulldog squad. They have played a lot of sets this year. It has been a long year for this Bulldog team. It's been a successful year, but it's been a long year. There haven't been very easy games, and the Bulldogs return it, and they return the favor between about 4 Saints. They get the side out that they vitally need. Storr will get a break. In comes Ava Tenuta, number 22. Another captain for the Bulldogs. And number 25 will serve, Abigail Donato, the sophomore center. And they can't handle it. That's an ace, another that the Bulldog needed. 22-15. They can do this, folks. It's only 7, and it's the playoffs. She went on a nice little run last time she was at the helm. And right over the net, hard to handle. A nice second hit. They end up dumping it back over. They do return. Tenuta, nice bump to Donato, to Caracciolo, the spike, good. Bulldogs get into their offense perfectly that time. Check out the replay on this one. Perfect set from Donato. Beautiful spot by Caracciolo, and the Bulldogs 22-16 now. And the vice starts to grip on St. Ray's, and their dig out of bounds. Another ace for Donato. She went on a late little run last time, and she's doing it again here, folks. She's their primary setter. She has very good control with the ball. Timeout on the court, the Saints' first timeout. So momentum starting to shift. It's still a big advantage. They only need 3 points, they being the Saints, to close out game 3, but they don't like the way this thing's going. The Bulldogs just had 11 a blink of an eye ago, and they're already up to 17 here. They can get back 5 more and tie this thing up in a blink. Advantage, in my mind, always goes to Coach Beal out of the timeout. So far, there's been 2 Bulldog timeouts today, and they've split. The Bulldogs went on a run out of the first, and the second, the Saints forced an immediate, the Saints were serving, and they scored. So We'll see how the third one, whether it breaks the tie here. 22-17 Saints, race to 25, win by 2. Playoff action, they call it a play-in, I call it a playoff. Either way, the winner moves on to Cumberland. That game is going to be 3rd through the 5th somewhere. Cumberland with a 3 seed this season, finishing with an impressive 12-3 record. Donato, nice serve coming out, and the Saints forced to dump it, handled by Arnold, and that is a set, went a little too deep into the net. The Bulldogs go out of the timeout. Saints force a side out. They get the point, 23-17. They need only 2 more. Bulldogs need a run. And that serve immediately out of bounds, exactly what the doctor ordered. And the Bulldogs meet at midcourt, 23-18, 5-point deficit. Off the side of the server's hand, as you can see, the spin, out of bounds it goes. Number 13, Summer Bruno, set to serve for the Bulldogs. And that one to the back line. Up near the net, they forced to dump it over in 2. Caracco tries to catch him sleeping and does. A little extra energy now for this Bulldog team, 23-19. Summer Bruno's ready, she grabs the ball. Bulldogs trail only by 4. They've trailed by as much as 8, 9 maybe. The jump serve, one of the few for the Bulldogs, that flies deep. Oh, they let it go and it was in, that puppy drops, folks. A little stinker action, I thought that was long gone. I would have fell victim to the same thing the Saints did, but that thing dropped at the last minute. Beautiful ace for the Bulldogs, 23-20. And another one, a knuckleball. Number 9, they get into their offense. Spike attempt and dug out by the Bulldogs. Donato, bump set by Tanuna. Into the net it goes. Game point for the Saints. Bulldogs now need 4 in a row to continue. And if I'm not mistaken, this is Olivia Harrison. She went on a nice little run for the Saints last time. For game 1, the serve. Handled by Bruno. To off and over. And the Saints, Caracho puts it right back over. The Saints trying to find a spot, and they carry. The Bulldogs will take the point. That's 1, 24-21. They can't let the Saints steal one. If they do, that's the first game is in the books. Caracho to serve. And the serve goes deep, and the Saints come to Westerly Federico Gymnasium and capture game 1 in this best of 5 match, folks. Playoff action here. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back for game 2.
My name is Kevin J. Lothar II. I'm a candidate for Westerly Town Council. But I was also an Army engineer officer for 13 years. And I solved problems in some of the most difficult places in the world, including the border with North Korea, Iraq, Afghanistan, and Egypt. And I want to take that experience that I had working with governments all around the world and bring it back here to Westerly. I've had a lifetime of service, but I want to continue that service here in this town. So please, come and support me on November 8th. My name is Kevin J. Lothar II. Together we can do big things.
Hey, my name's Caswell Cook, and I'm running for State Senate here in District 38, which is Westerly, Charlestown, and a part of South Kingstown. I've been elected 8 times to the Westerly Town Council, and over my 20 years of public service to the town of Westerly, I've paved roads, I've balanced budgets, and I've gotten a lot of things accomplished. I've got a track record. I'm asking you to support me on November 8th for State Senate. It's an important election. Dennis Algier is retiring after 30 years, and I would like to take his place in Providence to fight for you here in District 38. November 8th, please vote for Caswell Cook.
I am Timothy Killam, and I'm asking for your vote on November 8th for Westerly School Committee. As an active, involved parent, I know the efficiencies and deficiencies of our district. I want to grow the arts, CTE, and pathway programs to focus on student retention as well as increased student enrollment. As a former school committee member, I understand the complexity of our school budget and the need to focus on lowering per pupil costs to bring our district closer to the state average level. I also believe in being accessible, transparent, and collaborative with all constituents of Westerly so that we can grow the district for all future Bulldogs. I am Timothy Killam, and I'm asking for your vote on November 8th.
Hi, I'm Lori Wykall, and I'm running for Westerly School Committee. Our education needs to get back to basics. Students should be focusing on reading, writing, arithmetic, and science during the school day. We need safe and secure buildings, which means a student resource officer in every school, and disciplinary policies that hold students accountable. For years, I've been that parent, asking questions, looking for answers, and voicing my opinion. I'm still that parent, and I'll be there for you, open, empathetic, and communicative. On November 8th, vote Lori Wykall for Westerly School Committee.
And we are off, folks. Game 2. All right, now it's time to get excited. It's time to wake up. Time to stop screwing around. And I would like to say that to the Bulldogs, but I don't think they were screwing around, folks. This St. Ray's team looks good. They were able to get in their offense almost every time around. There was a few times the Bulldogs got the best of them, especially late. It was a close game, 25-21. I'm just saying, throughout, the advantage and the energy was definitely more in favor of the Saints than the Bulldogs. So the Bulldogs now need to erase that. And that's what Alex Storr's going to try to do as they get set to go from left to right here. Live from Federico Gymnasium, first serve, not so great. That's going to go in favor of the Saints as it goes to the lower portion of the net. I am the voice, Greg Moreno, alongside of producer, owner, Shane Belanger. We have Lisa and True behind the lens. We are Westerly.live, Westerly.radio, Federico Gymnasium, play-in match, play-off match. Bottom line, it's the Bulldogs versus the St. Ray's Saints. Seems like I say that so often, and that serve to let over the net in favor of the Saints. Bulldogs able to return it. Neither team getting into much of an offense with that one. They put down a little soft spike. That is number one, Ava Tavares of the Saints. So this will be a 2-0 start for the Saints. The winner will move on to the quarterfinal round and face Cumberland, who is 12-3, so that's no gift. But both teams have worked so hard, that's going to be an ace. Tenuta can't handle it. Quickly 3-0 for the Saints. I'm going to say the Saints look good in game 1. They were able to get, like I said, get into their offense. They never got really razzled too much, especially at the end there. They definitely made less unforced errors via the serve. And that's become an immediate problem here for the Bulldogs. Nice serve dug out by Tenuta. And then the spike by Tenuta. Puts it down. They can't handle it. Bulldogs on the board, 3-1. So I say home court is eliminated. It's not eliminated. It's what you would call equalized now. Because now that extra game, now you're down it. But you're supposed to have that home court advantage, that extra player in the stands. And that's up to the fans. They need to jump in a little bit. I know it's early. I know it's a Tuesday night. It's a school night. But this is the playoffs. They've worked hard to get here. That goes out of bounds in favor of the Bulldogs. And maybe if I just talk about random stuff and don't stay on the play, that'll work out for the Bulldogs every time. It does there. The score, 3-2. And the Bulldogs will serve. Summer Bruno, number 13. And a beauty. And able to handle it from the back line. Good back line play out of the Saints. Nice set, nice spike. Great block at the net by the Bulldogs. Soft spike attempt, nice to the back line. Saints get the point. Good net play by the Bulldogs. 16 to serve. Ava Hill for the Saints. 4-2 the score. Game 2, best of 5 match. Race to 25, win by 2. Nice serve. Dug out by the Bulldogs. Beautiful job by Bruno. Line drive, but somehow they handle it. And again, they get into their offense, and now the Bulldogs try. Store. Tenuta catches him sleeping. Nice spot by Tenuta. Second time it's come off her hands and turned into a point for the Bulldogs. 4-3 Bulldog serve. So before the Saints can get into any energy, Tenuta steps in twice. Ava Tenuta does, the senior captain. And with nice position, nice spot play with the ball, gets the Bulldogs 2 points and 2 side outs. And the senior Federico, nice serve. The Saints forced to dump it over. From the back line, it's Federico to Donato. And Caracciolo into the net. And just a little bit mistimed on the Bulldogs end. That'll be game 5-3. Game number 2, folks. Like I said, the winner heads to Cumberland, which is also a common theme here this week. We have 3 Bulldog playoff games There was sort of a playoff game last night up at Sallow Jerry Field. You want to call it a play-in, play-off? It was do or die regardless. Nice serve by the Saints. Diving save by the Bulldogs. Saints can't return it. That's Ava Tenuta again with the diving dig. She is on fire right now. And I thought she was about to run out and get substituted, and she may. Man, the last 4 times she's touched the ball, it's been 4 Bulldog points. 3 of them have been side outs. I don't know if she needed a break. Anyway, number 25 steps up to serve. Donato, the setter. Nice serve, and that's going to be an ace. Bulldogs knock things up here. And with their first chance to take a lead in a long time, actually since they haven't had one, they served first here in this one and went down 0-2, and the Saints went up early in game 1. So this is their first even up. It was 8-8 in game 1 last time it was tied. And that's Auth with a nice bump, and Bruno's forced to dump it over. Saints, 2 bumps, and Saul Spike tipped at the net, but they can't return it, and that'll be a Saints point. A lot of height at the net. Whatever Pelican and Auth are on the net together is a lot of height, Federico included. The Bulldogs definitely have a dominating net presence. And Pelican and Auth will be here next year. Auth will be here for the next 3 years after this. And deep, Saul Spectrum, handled by Arnold. And it's going to be Pelican this time. Nice job by the Bulldogs. She puts it down on the back line, and the Bulldogs will tie things up again, 6-6. We are in game 2 here, folks. So last night, the boys soccer team, who has essentially been playing playoff games for a long time here, they had to win their last regular season game. They had to force a tie in the game before that just to force a chance. And that chance was Saturday afternoon, and the Saints unable to make the return as they go into the net. The Bulldogs get the point, 7-6, and they take the lead. The closest they've been is 8-8 in game 1, folks. So now their first lead, and officially energy and momentum on their side. Pelican set to serve. And a nice serve, and they can't handle it. The spin too much. It's an ace. So anyway, the boys soccer team, as I was saying, have been playing playoff games for a long time. They forced a game on a Saturday afternoon versus Shea, and they had needed a tie or a win to move on. They get exactly what they needed on the 29th, and they were forced to play last night, and that's going to go to the back line, handled by Pelican. And Caracciolo to Bruno, spike goes down, point goes to the Bulldogs, and that's their biggest lead by far, 9-6 to score. So long story short, they won Saturday. They made it to another one of those play-in games last night here at Sallow Jerry Field on Halloween night. Scheduling oddity, I would say. Nice serve by Pelican. And at the net again, and the Saints can't return it. And they are officially a little flustered, and they're not far away from a timeout, folks. 10-6. They haven't been down by, and there it is. The timeout I was just expecting. In the meantime, this production, folks, is brought to you in part by McQuaid's Ace Hardware, your local family-owned hardware store located on Franklin Street in Westerly, RI, your fall cleanup headquarters. Wireless Zone, your Verizon authorized retailer located in Dunn's Corners next to Duncan. Cell phone sales, service, and repair. Tim Killam for Westerly School Committee. Lori Wycall for Westerly School Committee. Kevin J. Lothar II for Westerly Town Council. And Caswell Cook for Rhode Island State Senate District 38. All right, so back on the court as these teams speak, and the Bulldogs are already ready to be back on the court. They're ready to go. They're on fire right now with a 4-point lead. Pelican at the serve, the junior. Such an important part. So I was talking about boys soccer playoffs. I'm all excited. All sorts of things going on this week. So long story short, the boys won on Saturday, and they came back here last night. They won again, so they're going to hit the road in the quarterfinals. They are still alive. Thursday, girls soccer action. Sallow Jerry Field, we're bringing it to you. 6 p.m. The serve by Pelican, a teardrop. And the Saints aren't handling it well or forced to dump it over. Do a nice job of keeping it in play. Nice set by Donato. Auth and point Bulldogs. Carry on the side of the Saints, and the Bulldogs advantage out of the timeout. You know I love to always see that. I consider that a momentum grabber, especially if your opponent calls the timeout, because that means they're reeling a little bit, and you got the energy, and then you score out of the timeout. That's a double whammy. Bulldogs up 11-6. To the back line, Arnold handles it, and one-hander by Donato, and that goes off the rafters and in the Saints' favor. So a side out, 11-7, 4-point Bulldog lead. A luxury they have not had here tonight. They are much more in sync, I would say, the Bulldogs. It's never a matter of energy or effort, that's for certain. I just think the Saints were more in sync in their offense in the first game, and the Bulldogs are making it difficult on them here. Beautiful bump set by Donato to the back line, handled by the Saints. And the spike attempt, missed time to jump, and the Bulldogs will take advantage. Quick slide out, and again, the Bulldogs take it right back, not letting the Saints get into any kind of groove here in game two. And this is where you take, hopefully you take Federico Gymnasium back as your own. Caraccio, serve to the back line, and it's a beauty. They have a tough time handling, can't get into their offense, forced to dump it. And Caraccio with a nice bump set. Donato, and that's going to be right at the net. Bruno puts it over, blocked by the Saints. Point by the Saints, nice net presence by the Saints. Always talking about Bulldog Saints when we're in the playoffs here, it seems like, I don't know why. But anyway, so Thursday night, 6 p.m., ladies soccer versus Cumberland. It's being the team that the winner of this game goes on and plays. And then we got a Friday night headliner for you as well. Handled by Off near the net, and that is over the net, handled by the Saints. Again, nice job by the Saints at the net. Point makes it 12-9. Lead down to 3 for the Bulldogs. Kickoff, 7 p.m., South Algeria Field, Friday night lights. Bulldogs earned a playoff game on top of the hill. 4-game winning streak. They're getting better every week. And the Bulldogs do a great job of handling that serve and returning it. And they try to catch the Saints try to catch the Bulldogs sleeping, blocked at the net. And did the Bulldogs touch the net? And he's going to ask the other official. And I was wondering the same thing. It fell on the Saints side. Did one of the Bulldogs hit the net? That is the question. Then we will see what they say. I hear a nod. Yes, the Bulldog did hit the net. I thought I saw it myself. And the Saints will get the point. And we are down to a 2-point lead, 12-10. So Friday night, the Bulldogs will take their 4-game winning streak. They're getting better and better every week, as I was saying, up against the Cumberland Clippers. And that is a nice serve, handled well by Federico. Spike attempt into the net by the Saints. Side out, much needed for the Bulldogs, 13-10. Bulldogs now serving with a 3-point lead. And Donato will get a break. Tenuta will come in, and Orth will go serve for the Bulldogs. The freshman multi-sport athlete. I should say star athlete, moving up through the ranks here as she continues on. And the serve, that's going to be a nice job of getting it back. Can they recover? And they do. Beautiful job by, no, they don't. They did a nice effort, out of bounds it went. And the Bulldogs will get that's a long ace. A long ace. Took a while, but it turned into an ace. So nice job by Oth, 14-10 to score. Looking to extend the lead here in game two. The Bulldogs are down 1-0. If you're just joining us, nice serve. And they're going to be forced to dump it over at best, and that's just what they do. Arnold with a nice bump set, and that one time it's handled by into the net. It goes for the Bulldogs. Bruno with the attempt. Saints with the point. 14-11 to score. And we have another substitution. Constant substitution. The Saints appear to be much like the Bulldogs. They utilize everybody on the court. We're hearing whistles after almost every point on both sides. Crowd still getting bigger here at Federico Gymnasium as the points dwindle down. The seniors are going to realize this is their last time in this gym. This time it's for real. Senior night was fun, but this time it's for real. And that's an ace for the Saints. 14-12 to score. Buckle up, folks. It looks like we're in for a good one tonight. Saints came to play. Westerly's here. 14-12 Bulldog lead. Game one, 25-21. Saints take it. Jump serve is softly handled by Arnold. Nice set. A little too far over, so by inches right now, they're going in favor of the Saints in both first two games. Bulldogs touch the net there, and once a 6-point lead down to a 1-point lead for the Bulldogs. Saints will serve to even things up here. This is a play-in game, as they would say. And the set goes off the net, and that's an ace for the Saints. The let in favor of the Saints. And I was saying and there's a Bulldog timeout, folks. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll return in a moment. I am the voice, Greg Moreno, alongside producer, owner, Shane Belanger. We have Lisa and True behind the lens, folks. We are Westerly.live, Westerly.radio, and it is down to the nitty-gritty. Playoff time, fall sports, regular season, in the books, over, kaput, all sports. Now it is do or die, win or go home. However you want to phrase it, folks, if we're there, the winner moves on and the loser goes home, handled by Arnold. And the Bulldogs fly deep out of the timeout. That advantage goes to St. Ray's. About even coming out of timeout, somewhere around 3-3. And that's going to tie things up. That's going to make it 15-14, correction. St. Ray's has the first lead in a little while here in game 2. First lead overall, I do believe, actually. And that's handled by Tenuta. Federico and Tenuta forced to dump it to the back line. She does a nice job. And the Saints can't handle it. Bulldogs quick side out. And point, even things up here. So like I said, if we're bringing it to you, it's do or die. That's it, folks. We're bringing you some soccer on Thursday. The winner moves on, the loser goes home. Football, same scenario. So I am excited. I'm ripping around. We got a long night ahead of us here tonight, folks. These girls have had a long season. Saints trying to catch them sleeping. Bulldogs are not. Nice job by Ava Tenuta to put it over, and they're a play ahead of me right now. Federico doing the same thing. She always finds a difficult spot for the opponent to handle. That's handled by Bruno and Arnold. At the net, who wins? Bulldogs do. No one touches it. Nice job. That sets deep. Nice job to recover by the Saints. Set for the Bulldogs. Store with the set. And the Saints are going to have to dump it over, and they do. And the Bulldogs can't handle it. Carry, and the Saints will take the lead 16-15 as we slowly inch our way. We are over the halfway marker here in game 2. As we creep our way to 20, the serve for the Saints. And that's deep, and did they let it go? They did. Point Westerly. Great job by the captain, Dina Arnold, to pull that hand back at the last second. And now co-captain, Rachel Federico. None of them want this to be their last time. They don't want their last time playing here to be a loss, and that's an ace. And she's telling you that right now. She's been great at the service position all night long. Always the steady on the court, and you're going to see her all winter long on the court as well. Set by the Saints a little bit deep, forced to just dump. Bulldogs set at the net, handled by Caracciolo, and the dig by the Saints. And there's a spike attempt to the back line, handled by the Bulldogs. And this time it's going to be Pelican to the back line. And into the net it goes. The Saints play it off the net. And they return from the back line store. Caracciolo, and makes it difficult, but handled. And this set by the Saints is going to go to Tenuta. Back to the Saints side. This is the best volley of the night. Which way do we go? Pelican tries to find a spot and does. And now that's a big momentum grabber. The junior finally finds a spot. Longest volley of the night. Look at the replay right there. Drops it, 5 of them drops it between. And boy, did that mean something, a little bit more than just that point, folks, I will tell you. 18-16, 2-point Bulldog lead. And the next serve into the net, okay. So that kind of, that's a little bit of a back and forth emotional right on that one. Long volley. And then that, so that's a bit disappointing. 18-17 nevertheless. 5 away, progressive scoring. You score on anything, bounce back right here. This is the most unique approach on either squad, handled well by Arnold. At the net by Store. Tenuta, she's money tonight. Whenever her hand hits the ball, she finds a spot. This senior is on fire. She was in game 1 as well. And look at the spot with the right in the back corner. Side out, Bulldogs 2-point lead as we inch ever so closely to 25. Now to serve number 25, Abigail Donato. And a sport like this, and I look forward to basketball, and the serve handled by the back line. Nice serve. Sat a little deep, spike attempt off the net, but goes over. And this time Donato's going to go to Pelican to the back line again. And the Saints handle it. Bump set, a little bit deep. Spike to the back end. Arnold handles it, and the Saints put it right back down. Beautiful job at the net. And that is number 10 by the Saints, Madison Gonzalez, and number 15, Sadie Lallier, both juniors in there, both a net presence for the Saints. They're having an excellent night all around. 19-18, anybody's game. Beautiful serve, beautiful dig by Arnold at the net. Bulldogs, oh my gosh, did they return that for real? They did. And that is a heck of a return with a fist. And this time it's off, and she tries to put it down, dug out by the back line. And this one goes off of Pelican's hands. Can Arnold get there? No. And it's going to tie things up by St. Ray's. And needless to say, I don't need to say if you're the home team or if you're any team, you don't want to drop the first two. Clearly, that is definitely, if not, obviously your season would come down to one game, but emotionally. On that serve is a difficult one to handle. Bruno handles it well. Nice set by the Bulldogs. And this one off. Out of bounds it goes. They didn't touch it. They swung for it. They didn't touch it. It didn't appear so. And that one goes the way of St. Ray's, and they take their first lead of game number 2, and that's when you need it. When you hit the number 20 in the serve. Handled by, out of bounds. Brought back by Bruno. Can it get put over by Arnold? It does. Beautiful job by the captain. And that looked like a push, and it was. The Bulldogs immediately tied things back up, and that's what they needed to do. You would have seen a timeout otherwise. I have a strong feeling. I kind of get the feel on court. I could feel timeouts, and this is much like basketball. I don't have to look down on the roster to identify these women, and it makes my call a lot more convenient, other than when the volleys go back and forth and I go a whole play behind. And nice return. That's going to be handled by Pelican to Donato, dumped over by Arnold. The bump for the Saints, another bump set, and they're spiked to the back line. Arnold handles it. And that's Donato at the net to Bruno, and the dink. Nice one hand by the Saints, and blocked at the net. The Bulldogs, Caracciolo gets the Bulldogs the lead back. 21-20, a race to 25, win by 2, game number 2. Really all the pressure on the home team here. Bulldogs have dropped game number 1. Best of 5, the serve by Pellegrin. Handled on the back line. Another bump a little deep. Now this is a different St. Ray's. Oh, that's going to be a spike, false, a beauty for St. Ray's. I was about to say, this is a different St. Ray's squad than we saw in game 1. Haven't been as able to get into their offense here in game number 2 as they did in game number 1, and look where they're at. It's 21-21. So the serve for St. Ray's, this is going to be Olivia DiMacedo, I believe, and she has been effective from the service position. The Bulldogs, nice job. Bruno dumps it over. And again, they're a little deep off the net, able to get a nice save by Bruno. And Donato tries to dump it over and catch him sleeping. Into the net it goes. And St. Ray's has stolen the lead, 22-21. And another point here, and we will have a timeout. I can prognosticate that. Only the second time the Saints have had the timeout. Bulldogs need a side out. That one goes to the back line, handled by Arnold. And tries to save it, unable to do so as it was in the stands. And that is an ace, 23-21. And there's your whistle, there's your timeout. The flow of the high school game, folks, you can feel it, you can smell it. You know when it's going to happen, and now the Bulldogs, they're 2 points on the bad end of being down 2 games to none here, and really it quiets the crowd. It takes the crowd that extra man, as you would say, right out of it. So while the women are coming up with some kind of emergency plan here, there's 30 seconds left. This production is brought to you in part by Tim Killam for Westerly School Committee, folks. Lori Wycall for Westerly School Committee. Kevin J. Lothar II for Westerly Town Council. And Caswell Cook for Rhode Island State Senate District 38. The women take the court. And they got to feel some pressure. Whether it shows in how they play, I haven't seen it all year. They play with ice in their veins. But there's got to be some here. The whole season is on the line. Like I said, this isn't the senior night and regular season when you know you got another day. You don't. The serve, now coming out of timeout, the all-important. Bump set, into the net it goes, and the Bulldogs are not going to be able to return it. Out of the timeout, Saints have had the advantage more times than they have not. Match game point, I will say, to go up 2 games to none in what's normally a hostile environment. Federico Gymnasium has been neutralized. The serve, a tough one to handle, and it's an ace. Game number 2, go to the Saints, who have come marching into Federico Gymnasium, erased home court advantage, and gone a step further and taken a 2-0 advantage in this best of 5 match. The Lady Bulldogs must win the next 3 games if they would like to play on in this 2022 season. I'm going to be quiet. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back.
My name is Kevin J. Lothar II. I'm a candidate for Westerly Town Council. But I was also an Army engineer officer for 13 years. And I solved problems in some of the most difficult places in the world, including the border with North Korea, Iraq, Afghanistan, and Egypt. I want to take that experience that I had working with governments all around the world and bring it back here to Westerly. I've had a lifetime of service, but I want to continue that service here in this town. So please, come and support me on November 8th. My name is Kevin J. Lothar II. Together we can do big things.
Hi, I'm Lori Y. Call, and I'm running for Westerly School Committee. Our education needs to get back to basics. Students should be focusing on reading, writing, arithmetic, and science during the school day. We need safe and secure buildings, which means a student resource officer in every school, and disciplinary policies that hold students accountable. For years, I've been that parent, asking questions, looking for answers, and voicing my opinion. I'm still that parent, and I'll be there for you, open, empathetic, and communicative. On November 8th, vote Lori Y. Call for Westerly School Committee.
I am Timothy Killam, and I'm asking for your vote on November 8th for Westerly School Committee. As an active, involved parent, I know the efficiencies and deficiencies of our district. I want to grow the arts, CTE, and pathway programs to focus on student retention as well as increased student enrollment. As a former school committee member, I understand the complexity of our school budget and the need to focus on lowering per pupil costs to bring our district closer to the state average level. I also believe in being accessible, transparent, and collaborative with all constituents of Westerly so that we can grow the district for all future Bulldogs. I am Timothy Killam, and I'm asking for your vote on November 8th.
Hey, my name's Caswell Cook, and I'm running for State Senate here in District 38, which is Westerly, Charlestown, and a part of South Kingstown. I've been elected 8 times to the Westerly Town Council, and over my 20 years of public service to the town of Westerly, I've paved roads, I've balanced budgets, and I've gotten a lot of things accomplished. I've got a track record. I'm asking you to support me on November 8th for State Senate. It's an important election. Dennis Algier is retiring after 30 years, and I would like to take his place in Providence to fight for you here in District 38. November 8th, please vote for Caswell Cook.
Welcome back, everybody, and well, it hasn't gone as we would have liked thus far. It has definitely not gone as we would have expected thus far, but here we are, and you got to take it where you are and move on from there. So the girls got to take it 1 point at a time at this point. They really do. They got to win the next 3 games, so that's 75 points here. They got to score tonight, and they got to do it faster then the Saints can take 1 more game. The Saints have come in and they've erased home court advantage. They've come in and they've marched on in, I guess you would say, and taken over Federico Gymnasium. So the Bulldogs are going to have to make a comeback of the ages, which I've seen them do before. Let's see if this installment of the Bulldogs ladies volleyball team can do it here. I am the voice, Greg Moreno, alongside producer owner Shane Belanger. We have Lisa and True behind the lens. We are Wesley.live, Wesley.radio, bringing it to you here, folks. Playoff action. I'd love to be a little more positive about the scenario, but it is what it is. We're down 2-0 in a best of 5. And here we are live, game 3. Bulldogs need it. And they're going to get the advantage of the first point. They're going to take the lead. 1-0. So everything we bring you from here out, folks, is do or die. Quietly, this boys soccer team, they've been playing do or die games all season. For the last 3-4 regular season games, they've needed ties, they've needed wins, and they've gotten exactly what they needed. They needed a quiet tie or win on Saturday. And the serve by Storr, handled by the Saints. The back set, not that great. Handled by the Bulldogs. Can they dump it over? And no, they can't. Still a little bit sloppy. Point goes to the Saints. They'll tie it up at 1 and take the serve. So the Bulldogs doing all that. They get the win they needed on Saturday. They played on Halloween night quietly, odd scheduling. And they get the victory. So they're alive. They're in the playoffs. Obviously, this season it's on the road. Every one of their games is on the road, and St. Ray's serve goes into the net. As far as ladies soccer, they went 12-1 in the league, folks, in the regular season. So they earned a home game. It'd be nice to say that they've earned 2 in a row. That's normally what the case would be. But if they win in game 1, it's a neutral site in game 2, and that's Johnston. So the 12-1 Bulldogs, we're going to bring to you live. That falls in favor of the Saints. We're going to bring to you live Thursday at 6 p.m., where they're going to start their playoff run. The Bulldogs football team on fire. Winners of 4 in a row, getting better by the week. The entire state knows about them now. Kickoff 7 p.m. Friday night. but the here and now. We need these Lady Bulldogs to come together. That serve goes right to where it needed to, off the back wall, first the Bulldog. That's an ace, 3-2 the Saints. So the Saint team has been able to get into an offense more efficiently than the Bulldogs here tonight. And as far as setting and the serve, and that's almost another ace, and it is an ace. Pelican can't handle it, and that dropped into a different spot. So that's 2 in a row. The score 4-2 Saints. Bulldogs at one point in game 2 got into a little bit of a rhythm. Had a nice little lead, and the Saints, the team wouldn't allow it. Gymnasium not as loud as I would like it, that's for certain. But when you're down 2-0, that you've neutralized it, and the Bulldogs able to recover one off the net for once here. And the set, they like to set it about 5 feet off the net, I'm noticing. And Storr's set forces the overhand by Bruno, a nice one, into the net. That's a pop to the Bulldog side. Bruno puts it down, and the Saints able to dig it. And what a back bump set. And that's a beauty. If you see the replay on the Saints bump set there, that was impressive. They put it up near the net where their offense can handle it. They like it from 5 feet and into the net. They do a really good job, and that's where all of the Saints sets seem to end up. 5-2 Saints lead here in game 3. Bulldogs a little bit deflated, who wouldn't be, but there's no time to be. Can't feel bad for ourselves now. It's playoff time. And over the net they try to go. Tenuta does, almost spots it. She's had a great night. And the pop-up handled by Bruno, also always a clutch player. And that's Tenuta, the righty from the corner. And at the net we go, and handled by Gingarelli. Spike attempt by Bruno, falls in, side out. Point Westerly, 5-3. So the winner of this game gets the opportunity to head to Cumberland. Cumberland comes here Friday night. Winner goes there in volleyball. Cumberland racked up a 12-3 regular season record, if I look correctly here. Yep, 12-3 regular season record. We've seen this very Bulldog team. That's why this is hard to watch at the moment. It was a nice serve, and Cumberland does a nice job on offense. Gingarelli keeps it up. Federico and the Bulldogs overhand by Bruno. Likes that back corner and gets it there a lot. Scores for the Bulldogs. 5-4 the score. So we've seen this Bulldog team. Charo finished a perfect 16-0. It took every point, 5 sets, and a 16-14. Beautiful serve. That's an ace off the hand of Tenuta. I believe. It's Federico, correction, the captain. And it took 16-14 game 5 for the Chargers to beat the Bulldogs. So we know how good this Bulldog team can be. So it'd be a shame to see the season end here. And Federico serving up a storm, and that's a long ace for the Bulldogs, 5-5, and they tie it right back up. And you don't want to get this Bulldog ball rolling if you're a Saint, because if they win this next game, my opinion goes right back on the Bulldogs. And that's an ace by Federico. So Federico at the helm here takes control, and that's what the senior captain does. Beautiful, that drops to the back line. And they try with a nice bump set, and they had to reach to get it over. And they found the perfect spot. Gingarelli dives and tries to save it for the Bulldogs. Unable to do it, and they quit. Side out for the Saints, 7-6. Bulldogs have a 1-point lead. This is a must-win. Game 3, folks. And if it works out for the Bulldogs, it'll be a must-win. Game 4. Everything's a must now for this Bulldogs team. They really, things haven't gone their way. 3 days off, and it's spike inbound. Bulldogs point. Quick side out, 8-6. So they are controlling the tempo early here in game 3. They did that as well in game 2. They had a nice little lead as they worked their way into the teens, and then St. Rita's came right back. Ava Tenuta serving. She's had a beauty of a night, and there's an ace right there off number 22's hands. The co-captain, with what looks like an effortless approach, but has sonar on it and speed. And that one drops. They can't handle it, but able to dump it back over. No, they're not. 2 hands on it, and that's an ace for Tenuta. So she is giving the Bulldogs a 4-point lead and forced a timeout. And you got to yell out of the captain, Dina Arnold, to get the team together here and get things started. You don't want to open the door at all. Never let a Bulldog breathe, and that's what the state's talking about. This Bulldog football team as well. This football team was down 0-2 in the league, in the division to start this year, and there's a lot of the articles you read, the league had their opportunity to put their foot down and keep them out of the playoffs. They were unable to do that, and they have turned into a force, and we're going to see that force take the field here on Friday night as Cumberland comes to town. They are the 3 seed in the 2A division, 2 North division, whatever they call it. And the Bulldogs, the 2 seed in 2B. But first, we have the Lady Bulldogs, division champs, taking Salor Jerry Field at 6 p.m. on Friday night. Playoff action, quarterfinal action. Winner moves on to the semifinals and heads to Johnston. All right, back, focus. Federico Gymnasium, Tenuta serving, out of the timeout. Lets it go, out of bounds. Advantage out of timeout goes to the Saints. I always mention that because I consider that an energy swing possibility every time. That makes it 10-7. Tenuta does a nice job, creates a little separation for the Bulldogs. Number 13, Olivia DiMacedo, the junior. And that one just over the net, a beauty. Falls right in front of the back line of the Bulldogs. That's an ace. 10-8 of the Bulldogs lead. This Saints team came to play, folks. I told you throw out the records. I wouldn't mention them anymore, and only because we're losing by so much I'm mentioning them. You throw out the regular season records. Bruno puts it in place so the Bulldogs can dump, and they do. And scrambling, even when they scramble, they do a really good job up in this St. Ray's team. Donato to Bruno, and that one flies deep. So 10-9 the score. This Saints team is not going to make anything easy if this Bulldog team has hopes of coming back here. Obviously, it would have to be a 5-game match for them to get the victory at this point. Sliding forward store, but it goes over, and the Saints immediately return out to set by Oth, Donato, and they miscommunication. Bulldogs get fortunate, and bump one that drops just over the net into the in front of the front line of the Saints. So 11-9, Bulldogs 2-point lead. Game 3, best of 5 match, folks. Bulldogs down 0-2. Play in game, play off game. Regardless, the loser doesn't play anymore. The jump serve, one of the more powerful serves for the Bulldogs, but that is the risk you take a little bit too much sometimes, and it flies. And a quick side out, 11-10. A little elevation out of the crowd in the gym as they're feeling a little bit of the desperation. And handled by Arnold. Donato, back line by Bruno. Set by the Saints right at the net. Spike attempt. Bulldog can't handle it. And it goes off the rafters. That's going to be a point for the Saints. Right back tied at 11. Boy, did they come to play. Number 0, Morgan Fontaine. I have had her number all night long wrong, and she's wearing a completely different uniform. How I have, I don't know, but she's gotten a bunch of points out of the service position nonetheless. Bruno with the bump from the back line. Donato, nice set to Off. Spike handled somehow. Soft spike attempt handled by Arnold. Donato, and this time Pellegrin with the soft touch, a dink over the net and doesn't touch the net. Wargo pass underneath, somehow controls her body, and the Bulldogs will get the side out in the point. And she did stop on a dime and get what the Bulldogs vitally needed. Now the freshman, Lila Ott, to serve. Number 15. Nice serve, handled by the Saints. They'll set up top, and that will fall inbounds. Beauty of a spot for the Saints, and we are knotted at 12. See the Saints, they're just getting into their offense. They're able to bump set, reverse and forward, anyone on the court really well. They've done that a lot tonight. A lot of controlled 3-hit offense, whatever you call it. And that's a nice bump by, a little too close to the net. Bulldogs scrambling, trying to get a return, and they can't get anything out of that. And that is going to give the Saints their first edge here. And now that gives them the mindset, okay, we can just do this in 3 and go home. And now that they have their first lead, and it's halfway through game 3, Bulldogs unable to get into a rhythm or take command or utilize home court at all here tonight. When I say neutralize, the Saints came in and neutralized the Bulldogs right from the get-go. And the Bulldogs now need to really put something together. Again, into their Set situation out of bounds. It flies for the Bulldogs. They'll tie it up at 13. This production brought to you in part by Tim Killam for Westerly School Committee, Lori Whitecall for Westerly School Committee, Kevin J. Lothar II for Westerly Town Council, and Caswell Cook for Rhode Island State Senate District 38. We are Westerly.live, Westerly.radio. First playoff game for you folks. We got another Thursday, another Friday. And that is going to be the ace the Bulldogs needed to take the lead. You get a little energy here. Alex Storr, number 9, set to serve for the Bulldogs. Alex Storr always active, playing one sport or another. Fully capable of going on a run here. She has absolutely done it before, and a beauty of a serve. That's an ace. And the Bulldogs with a 2-point advantage here. And looking for 3. The serve handled, but near the net. And that just gets over the outreach Federico and the side out, and the Saints prevent the Bulldogs from going in that run. You know, that run that turns into 6, 8, 10. Hasn't happened. That chunk run here. The Bulldogs at one point in one game, they were up 8. I believe it was the first game. Maybe a little less than 8. And that is going to be an ace by the Saints, who immediately tie things back up. Number 6 serving, Ariana Blanco, only a sophomore, but a presence at the net. And the Saints' approach really has been with their sets to set back a little further from the net. And I wonder if that's because of the athleticism and height the Bulldogs have at the net with Federico, Auth, and Peliquin. I wonder if that's their way of like staying away from the hands and trying to prevent all of the blocking ability the Bulldogs have. Whatever it is, it's worked for the Saints tonight. The Bulldogs with a 1-point lead. Peliquin drops a tough one, and they still find a way to drop it somewhere the Bulldogs aren't. You can't blame the Bulldogs there. 2 Saints just pretty much put their flipper out, get the spins that they needed, and find the spot they needed for the return, for the point they needed to tie. Saints are 9 points away from calling it a night, coming into Federico Gymnasium as the lower seed and sweeping the Bulldogs. And that's going to be handled by, goes right back over the other side of the net. Federico this time, Storr back to Federico. Spike attempt, tapped at the net, good for the Bulldogs. So the Bulldogs will take a 1-point lead. Bulldogs need to get to 25 first. Rachel Federico, number 21, the senior, does not want this to be her last volleyball game. The serve doesn't make it. Point goes to St. Ray's, tied at 17. The Saints, if the Bulldogs were to come back, they have their work cut out for them, because the Saint team is going to make you work your way to 25. And the jump serve to the back line. Bulldogs handle. They're going to have to dump it over, and they do from behind effectively. Nice job by Storr. But again, into their offense, the Saints. Bulldogs try to block, and the Bulldogs do a beautiful job, Arnold, there of getting it over. Saints return, though. Seemingly everywhere. Set by Auth. Caracciolo, I believe, Donato. At the net. Bulldogs able to tip it and block it, but it goes out of bounds. And the Saints will take the point, 18-17, and they're getting a little bit more excited. Their bench is getting more and more into it. They've been on their feet all night, but they're more animated now. The Bulldogs bench in the blue, probably feeling a bit blue at the moment. They're quieter. The serve, dives, handled. Auth puts it over. They handle it in the back line. And the set overhand by the Saints. Bruno to Storr, back to Bruno. And it is handled. The bump set by the Saints into the net. Still alive. Oh, no. Point goes to the Bulldogs. I was wondering how it was still moving. So the Bulldogs tie things up at 18. Can they get a little space? Number 22, Ava Tenuta, the senior co-captain, having a fantastic night despite the scores. And that one flies deep in. I open my mouth at the worst time sometimes, folks. I swear, but that's my job, and I'm going to keep doing it. That one flies deep, and Saints take the advantage by 1. 25 is looming. The serve, and it's a beauty, handled by Arnold. The bump set deep, the overhand for the Bulldogs. to the back line. And a bump set, overhit into the net it goes. Bulldogs get the point they need. They tie it right back up. Talk about back and forth. No one can grab momentum. Obviously, a huge difference in the pressure situation here. If you're the Saints, if you're the Bulldogs, I need not say the difference. Number 13 serving, Summer Bruno. And the jump serve handled by the back line. They get a good set in and a soft spike attempt handled by Pellegrin. Off, back to Pellegrin. Spike attempt 9, they can't handle it. The Bulldogs will take the lead and reach 21st. 1 point advantage. Can Summer Bruno get another? Another multi-sport athlete, and she is only a junior. She is going to be a monster next year to deal with as opponents. And that looks like an ace to me. It does get over. Off, he turns it immediately. They can't handle it. Point for the Bulldogs, a 2-point lead here. So let's see if they can stretch it. They need 4 more. Force a game 4. This Bulldog team, definitely a no-quit attitude team. Every Bulldog team. And that serve, and they don't handle it well. They are able to keep it in the air, and they dump it back over to the Bulldog side. This time it's Donato to Store, and they handle it on the back line. And a deep set, that's where they like it, and that flies out of bounds. Bulldogs point, 22. They need only 3 more to steal the game. Well, steal the game. It's a must-win here. To add another game to their season, they force a St. Ray's timeout. All the pressure on the Bulldogs here. They have a minute to come up with a plan to get 3 points and not allow the St. Ray's Saints to get on any kind of run here. The Saints obviously have walked into Federico Gymnasium and they've pulled the energy out of the crowd. It's silent in the gym right now. You can hear a pin drop. It's the 22-19 Bulldogs lead, folks. So as the Bulldogs break the huddle, hopefully the crowd will wake up as well. Bulldogs trail 2-0, so this is step 1 in a journey, in a comeback. And one heck of a comeback I would love to see here tonight, let me tell you, folks. And Coach Beal always has her team ready, and this team has played in so many 5-game matches this season that they are completely accustomed to it. There will be no fatigue factor, and I'll talk all the way to the next game. If you can take this game, it is huge in taking back the energy from your fans. So Bruno, set to serve out of the timeout. And the jump serve, and out of the timeout again. It goes in favor of the Saints. That's the way it's been going all night long. Really, that was just an execution scenario. The timeout freezes the kicker in football. The timeout freezes the setter in volleyball. Bruno was on a nice little run, the break, and then just throws you off just enough. And to the back line, Fontaine with it. And Pellegrin forced to push, a nice push to the back line. She has had a good night herself, and they dump it over the Saints. Arnold handles it. The set to Store, and a nice spot. A Bulldogs point, 23-20. They get it back. They need 2 more for a game 4 here, folks. Set to serve, the freshman, Lila off for the Bulldogs. And to the back line, and it is just out. 23-21 the score. A race to 25, folks. The match on the line for the Bulldogs. The Saints looking to walk in and earn a 3-game sweep. Bulldogs hard pressed to allow that. Serve right back into the net. They give it right back, game point. And the Bulldogs need only 1. The Saints need 3 in a row here. And the Saints needed to close the door when they had the opportunity. Bulldogs looking to make it 2 games to 1. Number 9, Alex Store. Set to serve. Stores. And it's handled, dumped over. Federico drifts it to the floor, and the Bulldogs win game number 3. And they move on. That's all they needed was a crack in the window, folks. This senior leadership on this team, and they only have 4 seniors, but they have been in this position, folks. We're going to take a break, but before that, during that break, I'm going to count how many times this Bulldogs team has had to play 5 games, because that number is going to loom large in the comeback that the Bulldogs have just begun. We will be right back. Bulldogs trail 2 games to 1 in this best-of-5 playoff matchup. We'll be back.
My name is Kevin J. Lothar II. I'm a candidate for Westerly Town Council. But I was also an Army engineer officer for 13 years. And I solved problems in some of the most difficult places in the world, including the border with North Korea, Iraq, Afghanistan, and Egypt. And I want to take that experience that I had working with governments all around the world and bring it back here to Westerly. I've had a lifetime of service, but I want to continue that service here in this town. So please, come and support me on November 8th. My name is Kevin J. Lothar II. Together we can do big things.
Hi, I'm Lori Y. Call, and I'm running for Westerly School Committee. Our education needs to get back to basics. Students should be focusing on reading, writing, arithmetic, and science during the school day. We need safe and secure buildings, which means a student resource officer in every school, and disciplinary policies that hold students accountable. For years, I've been that parent, asking questions, looking for answers, and voicing my opinion. I'm still that parent, and I'll be there for you, open, empathetic, and communicative. On November 8th, vote Lori Wykall for Westerly School Committee.
I am Timothy Killam, and I'm asking for your vote on November 8th for Westerly School Committee. As an active, involved parent, I know the efficiencies and deficiencies of our district. I want to grow the arts, CTE, and pathway programs to focus on student retention as well as increased student enrollment. As a former school committee member, I understand the complexity of our school budget and the need to focus on lowering per pupil costs to bring our district closer to the state average level. I also believe in being accessible, transparent, and collaborative with all constituents of Westerly so that we can grow the district for all future Bulldogs. I am Timothy Killam, and I'm asking for your vote on November 8th.
Hey, my name's Caswell Cook, and I'm running for State Senate here in District 38, which is Westerly, Charlestown, and a part of South Kingstown. I've been elected 8 times to the Westerly Town Council, and over my 20 years of public service to the town of Westerly, I've paved roads, I've balanced budgets, and I've gotten a lot of things accomplished. I've got a track record. I'm asking you to support me on November 8th for State Senate. It's an important election. Dennis Algier is retiring after 30 years, and I would like to take his place in Providence to fight for you here in District 38. November 8th, please vote for Caswell Cook.
And we are back, folks. We are in game number 4. The Bulldogs escape elimination in game number 3. St. Ray Saints walked in and took the first 2, putting the Bulldogs season and backs against the wall. This Bulldog team, no pressure. You can see right there, there's absolutely no pressure. They're joking with each other. They have been in this position before. I looked on the schedule, and I'm noticing now that St. Ray's has not played a single 5-game match all season. So that means that may loom large if the Bulldogs are able to pull off a win here in game number 4. Best of 5 series. We have a 2-1 St. Ray Saints advantage at the moment. Captain Rachel Federico, number 21, set to serve the start of game number 4. Of course, if the Saints are able to pull this off, pull the victory off in this one, that will eliminate the Bulldogs. Winner of this match moves on to play Cumberland on, I believe, play Cumberland the 3rd through the 5th, somewhere in there. All right, here's the whistle, and we are started, folks. So momentum on the side of the Bulldogs. They took the game. It wasn't easy, and an ace to start from the captain. 1-0. I know I'm excited because I know from here out, in the fall, folks, if I'm talking, it's playoffs. It's elimination on the line. It's everything. And that's every sport we bring to you this week, and it starts right here. And another beauty, and that's an ace. So right out the rip, you can tell energy and momentum has shifted. The gym is back alive. 2 points to start this one for the Bulldogs. And the serve to the back corner, they let it go, and that's wide. So out of bounds, that'll be it. 2-1. I expect nothing less. Look at these scores, folks. 25-21, 25-21, flip-flop it, 25-21. How about pretty even performances here tonight? So if the Bulldogs, we could flip the whole mirror if the Bulldogs win this one 25-21. The jump serve, and that is going to be handled by Bruno. Brought over by Storr, and Peliquin unable to handle it. That's off that time. And the Bulldogs advantage, put it down at the net. That is Peliquin with the final touch for the Bulldogs. That'll make it 3-1. Game number 4. Ava Tenuta, number 22, co-captain, set to serve here in game number 4. And that's a missile, and good things have happened off of her hands all night long. That's an ace, 4-1. No nerves in this Bulldog team. We've seen it this year. And we've seen it in these athletes in other sports. And another missile for a serve. Able to recover and get into an offense are the Saints. The Bulldogs return it, handled by Storr. And off, tries to catch him sleeping and does. Bulldog point. So the energy continues from game 3 to game 4, 5-1. Best start in any game the Bulldogs have had. They have had the lead off the rip before, but not this kind of a lead, and that one's right back. They're going to give it to them. So it'll make it 5-2, the side out, into the net, unforced error. We are bringing you Bulldogs Volleyball playoff action live, folks. We are Westerly.live, Westerly.radio. Thursday, 6 p.m., Sal Algieri Field. Friday, 7 p.m., Sal Algieri Field. Both playoff games, winner go home. Nice serve, Bulldogs, great recovery. And the point, the side out, 6-2 Westerly. I got the excitement and the energy, folks. The players, oh my God, I can't wait to see them. And I can't wait to watch this comeback right here. We're seeing it in progress. Energy on the Bulldog side, 6-2 lead. They did win game 3. Looking for 2 in a row. They need 3 in a row to play another day, and a little miscommunication there. That one drops harmlessly to no man's land, and that's a side out and a point for the Saints, 6-3. Like I said, if you look at the scores on the bottom there, no team's going away. There are mirror scores. Exactly, literally mirror scores. And the serve, the unique approach. Into the net it goes, so the Bulldogs will take it. And now, if you're the Saints, you can't let this sleeping dog lie, or whatever the saying may be. Bottom line is they shouldn't have let the Bulldogs get too much momentum, and definitely not too much momentum here in game 4. Because I'll tell you what, if the Bulldogs go into a game 5 scenario, that goes right into the net, and that makes it 7-4. So neither team able to grab too big of a lead in any game. The Bulldogs had a nice 8-point lead a couple times tonight. 7-4 Bulldogs right here. But a game 5 home court advantage after being down 2-0. I would lean the Bulldogs advantage. And Bruno with the missile into the net and over, point Bulldogs. That might have been Federico actually, or Bruno. No, she was at the net. So 8-4 Bulldogs the advantage here in game 4. Again, an elimination game for this Bulldog team. If you're just joining us, folks, this Bulldog team, as you can see, dropped game 1 and game 2, 25-21. 25-21. And this Bulldog team flipped the script exactly and won 25-21. But they are keeping this Saints team close, and you can't do that. With everything on the line, into the net it went, and 8-5 the score. And the Saints will serve, and this is going to be number 0, Morgan Fontaine. And this is not going to make it, and the Bulldogs will take it right back. So neither team getting into too much of a groove, but what I have seen, and we just watched this Saints team drop game 3, and they're not playing all so hot here at the start of game 4. So have the Bulldogs really taken momentum on the court and taken the energy? They may have. Let's see. Stay tuned. The jump serve by Bruno, extremely effective. They let it go. It drops in. It's like a knuckleball pitch. You never know where it's going to go, and they'll just dive at the end. And she can also give you that forward spinning missile. So it's very difficult to defend number 13, Summer Bruno. One of the few jump serves you'll see out of the Bulldogs. And that is the side spinner. And Toyas off the back line. They're forced to just dump it. And did they make it? They did, just over the net. The Bulldogs give it right back to them. And they weren't ready for it. And Tenuta dropped it between the front line and the net. And that'll be another Bulldog point. So the Bulldogs off to a nice start here 11-5, and the Bulldogs force the timeout. All momentum and energy in favor of the Bulldogs, folks, and watch out, folks. This could be a buzzsaw. If they get through this one with the energy coming back from a 2-0 deficit, they're definitely, let's just say, energy, momentum, fans, everything. This gym should be pandemonium if they can force a Game 5. It will be a difficult environment. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. This Bulldog team, they dropped the first 2 games, and they workmanlike took game number 3 with their season on the line, no problem, and they have moved along here into game number 4 and earned a 6-point advantage. This production, folks, brought to you by Wireless Zone, your Verizon authorized retailer located in Dunn's Corners next to Duncan. Cell phone sales, service, and repair. We are back out of the timeout. Out of the timeout tonight. The advantage has gone slightly to the Saints. Let's see how this one goes. They're using every second possible. They know they do not want to force a Game 5. Folks, not only would their season be on the line, not only would they have just given up a 2-game-to-none lead, but they haven't been forced to a Game 5 all season long. The Bulldogs' last 2 matches alone have been Game 5s. Out of the timeout, this one to the Bulldogs, 12-5. The Bulldogs' past 2 matches alone have gone to 5 games. So this Saints team now, you can see a little bit of disarray. They're definitely not in sync. Is that pressure? I think it is. 12-5. And knuckleball falls in front. They're able to dump it back over, emergency style. Federico to Tenuta. And unable to get into any kind of an offense. The Saints, they are able to return there, and they'll get the point. It's been a while since they've been able to get in sync. Energy is definitely in favor of the Bulldogs. Ten seniors on this St. Ray's team that don't want this to be their last volleyball game ever. And the Bulldogs, Federico dumps it over the back line. Bump set, but deep. Spike attempt, that's going to fly deep into the corner. Nice job. And the Bulldogs can't handle it, and that is going to be a point for St. Ray's, 12-7. So let's see if they can squeeze things a little tighter. This is when the Bulldogs need their fans. Season on the line, as it was last game. And the serve, not going to get there. Bulldogs will take it. 13-7. 6-point advantage. Senior captain set the serve. Rachel Federico, number 21. Having a nice night all 3 games. And that one's a missile to the back line, and they can't return it. That's an ace for Federico. 14-7 Bulldogs. You got the Saints doubled up here in game 4. I'm telling you, it's not only the home court being a factor, the serve by Federico to the back line, and they don't handle it well. Off the rafters, and it's another ace. 15-7. But this St. Ray's team seems to be completely in disarray here in game 4, more than they've been at any other point in any other game. And that might be because they're slowly see their 2-game-to-none lead disappearing. And that's another missile serve. They're forced to just dump it over. And they find a beautiful spot to do it. They get fortunate to side out they needed. 15-8 to score. But this St. Ray's team has not been forced to a game 5 all season. So you can't tell me that that does not force nerves upon a player. I'm a former athlete. These young women are athletes. You get nervous, A, if you had a 2-game-to-none chance to eliminate and you're back to and you forced a game 5. But more importantly, having not been in that position all year. Beautiful bump set. And the dink attempt, they're waiting. Pelican tries to get it. And the set into the net it goes. The Bulldogs will get it. 16-8 to score. Frustration on the side of the Saints. You can see it for the first time tonight. They are out of sync. They are frustrated. You would think the Bulldogs have the advantage in this one, but the Bulldogs are the one playing with their season on the line. In this particular game I'm referring to, if the Bulldogs have had their backs against the wall last game, as they do this game. Elimination on the line last game, as it is this game. As they dry off the court, We have seen no nerves out of the Bulldogs, and I am seeing nerves out of the Saints in this Game 4. Game 3, they were unable to get in sync and into their offense quite as much as Game 2 and 1, and you see that as they lost Game 3. And that's credit to the Bulldogs. And this one here, they are down 16-8, and they haven't come near getting into their offense. They haven't been in sync whatsoever, but what they have done is they've displayed their emotions a little bit, and they haven't done that all night. The serve by Donato, a missile out of the timeout. Not a real timeout, but a break in play. And to the back line it goes, handled by Arnold, kept alive, and the Bulldogs are not going to be able to return this one. So the Saints get the point, 16-9 the score. Bulldogs need 9 more points here in this one to force a deciding Game 5, a season on the line. Game 5, race to 15 it would be. First, the Bulldogs got to take advantage of things like that. A quick side out. Serve goes out of bounds. The Bulldogs have 17. I'm watching this pressure mount on this Saints team. It's not a young Saints team, as I said, with all those seniors. And the serve by Pelican drops in front of everybody. And the Bulldogs are excited, folks. This no-quit team from the depths of elimination, down 2-0 on their home court. All energy around them gone. They believed in themselves the whole time. Drops another teardrop. Set. Goes to the net, and they find the spot. Saints, that is, and they'll get their 10th point in the serve, 18-10. They're going to have to get in sync and go on a little bit of a run here, though. If you don't want to force the Game 5, and I'll tell you what, if you're the Saints, if you're the Saints coach, if you're the Saints family, friends, or fans, you don't want to play a Game 5 here either, especially not after blowing a 2-0 lead. And the jump serve to the back line, handled by Arnold and pushed over to a nice spot. Point goes to the Saints out of bounds. I thought it was an open spot, 18-11. So they will serve again. Saints had a chance to end this match last game. They have another chance this game. The Bulldogs have had something to say about it. The serve, a nice one. Bulldogs can't handle it, and they do off the backboard. But can they get it over? They cannot. Once it gets up into them rafters in the backboard, who knows? It's a pin ball, and that bounces in favor of the Saints, 18-12, as they creep back in here. They have a couple players that approach in this manner. It's unique, but they seem to do a good job at it. Arnold handles it. Pelican, and the Bulldogs will dump it over. Off to the other side. And a bump set. And the overhand to the back line handled by Pelican. And it goes off of the official's stool, and that is a point for the Saints. So they're creeping, 18-13. Bulldogs fortunately built a nice little cushion here in Game 4, but it's time for a side out. You don't want to give any team an open window. The Saints have given the Bulldogs the open window. Bulldogs don't want to give it back. The serve. Handled by Bruno. To Donato, back to Bruno, and it's in there. It's like a fastball. She drops it low and in, and that's a point the Bulldogs really needed. 19-13, gets the side out, and number 15 off with the serve. And that's a beauty. They don't handle it well, and it turns into an ace for Roth. I'm going to stop saying freshman in front of her name because she plays far beyond her years here in pressure situations. There's no pressure on this Bulldog side no matter who has the ball. 20-13. 5 away from the Game 5. The serve, a beauty. Back cornered. Set by the Saints. Spike attempt. Handled on the back by Off. This time to Donato and pushed over by Federico. And back from the Saints. They can't push it over. Bulldog point. Frustrated Saints. 21-13. The Bulldogs win the volley. Off for another here. This is the first game the Bulldogs have had a decided advantage like this. And that is a missile in eighth. An ace out of Oth's pocket. And when I say ice in their veins, I say ice in their veins. 22-13. This team was just down 2-0 with their season on the line at home. And a timeout on the floor forced by St. Ray's. We'll take a 2-second break and be right back, folks. All righty, folks, here we go. We are seconds away. The Bulldogs are 3 points away from evening things up. Things didn't start so well here in this playoff match, folks, in Federico Gymnasium, home court advantage. The Saints came marching in, taking game 1 and game 2 by the score of 25-21 each. The Bulldogs, then, there's no pressure. Bulldog team, there's no quit, it's resilient, add in any adjective you want. They use everyone on the team, flip the script for a 25-21 game 3 victory, and now are finally playing as and more in sync than they have all night long. Off to serve again, out of the break, a beautiful serve, diving dig by the Saints. Federico with the spike attempt, that's going to fly deep, and the Saints will get a point to make it 22-14. A nice little run by Oth there. Bulldogs not only lead by 8 here, more importantly, they're only 3 points away from forcing a Game 5 here at Federico Gymnasium from the brinks of elimination. And a bump set by Store, a beauty, and a block by the Saints. Nice net play, and that'll give them 15. This Saints team now has not quit all night long, but folks, I will tell you, it's just numbers all year long. They haven't played 5 games in a match. And the Bulldogs, their past 2 games have been 5 games, so they are used to this. Will that matter in Game 5? Something's got to give. And we have a nice little volley back and forth here. A nice set by there. It dances the top of the net, and it goes in favor of the Saints, who are getting a little bit of excitement back into them. They were a little bit of disarray before that timeout. Since that timeout, they have done well here, 22-16. And this serve to the corner, handled by the Bulldogs, out of bounds. It's an ace for the Saints, 22-17. So the number is counting up for the Saints since that timeout. They've scored 4. And this one, handled by Store to Donato, and pressed over by Federico just when they needed the captain. They got one, and that makes it 23-17. 2 points from forcing this Game 5. Folks, I would never want to have to play a Game 5 against the Bulldogs in their home gym. Now you might have to play a Game 5 against the Bulldogs in their home gym after they just came back down game 2 games to none. I'm excited I can't even talk. And they give them an unforced error into the net, and that makes it 23-18. So the excitement here, folks, season's on the line. Well, the Bulldogs is anyway. Set to serve, number 0, Morgan Fontaine, has done a nice job for the Saints. And that one off the net, out of bounds, point Bulldogs. Game point to force a Game 5 from the depths of elimination, this ladies volleyball team. Summer Bruno, no one better, the junior. And the serve, handled from the back line, the bump set, spike attempt. And this Saints team is alive, 24-19. Now the Saints, folks, need 5 in a row. They need 5 more to stay alive and not force a Game 5, at least not immediately. Bulldogs just need to get 1 to hit the floor here in the next few. And the serve, handled by Pelican. And the dink, and that finds the floor, and the Game 4 goes to the Bulldogs. So seemingly their season having come to near end as the Saints come marching in and win the first 2 games, the Bulldogs feel no pressure and win Games 3 and Game 4 by a score of 25-21 and 25-19. Now it's a race to 15, folks, not 25-15. Win by 2, season on the line. It doesn't get better than this. Playoffs are unbelievable. First 4 games, throw them out the window. I can't really say that because when you're down 0-2 and you come back from down 0-2, most definitely momentum is on your side. And when you're up 0-2 and you've blown an 0-2 lead, your definitely energy is not on your side. I'm such a big believer in energy and momentum. I got to give the advantage of that to the Bulldogs. And then the factor that they're playing at home in front of the Dog Pound, who I can only imagine how loud they're going to be. I am excited. It doesn't get better. And this is just a kickoff to this week's playoff action, folks. We got more Thursday, we got more Friday, but I'm staying right here because this gets no more exciting now as they flip sides. This production brought to you in part by Tim Killam for Westerly School Committee, Lori Wycall for Westerly School Committee, Kevin J. Lothar II for Westerly Town Council, and Caswell Cook for Rhode Island State Senate District 38. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to bring back season deciding Game 5, folks. All right, folks, vote yes on 4, and here we go on Game 5. This is it. One team season is over. Westerly.live, Westerly.radio, bringing it to you from Federico Gymnasium. I'll tell you what, the Saints team's excited. They're extremely excited. Why wouldn't you be? Your season's on the line, but they don't have the experience in this game. They have not played in the Game 5. The Bulldogs coming off 2 Game 5s. They've played in Game 5. Will that make a difference? I think coming back from a 2-0 deficit, winning 2 in a row at home, advantage goes to the Bulldogs, but it comes out to play on the court. Here we go. First volley, a little bit sloppy, but both teams keep it alive. One-handed return by Storr. Nice job. This is a race to 15. Bump set to the net, blocked. At the net by Federico. They're able to return it. Bumped by Federico. And kept alive by Storr, dumped back over. First point is a battle. It's a volley, and it goes to the Bulldogs. Now, there's a vice on this St. Ray's squad. When I mean a vice, I mean like a clamp, a vice grip, because you're up 2 games to none. You're in enemy territory. You've lost 2 straight, and you've never been here before. This is when, whether you're senior or not, takes it out of it. It matters what you've done this season. Here is Federico's serve. And it is handled on the front. 1-0 Bulldogs lead, spike attempt to the back line. Federico keeps it alive. Bump to Storr, and Bruno takes it to the back line of the Saints. They get into an offense, they're set, and this one flies deep. Nice play by Federico. Gets it to the other side, and the Saints keep it alive. So far, good play by both teams here, making each other work, and Federico again returns it. Both teams getting into their offense, can't find the floor, and they do there. The Saints, that is, they knotted up at 1. Folks, I have a feeling this one's going to come down to the nitty-gritty. The Bulldogs able to pull away seemingly in Game 4, end up with a 6-point victory. First 3 games went, by, as you can see, by 4-point differentials, so not big at all. And it's a quick one. It's to 15. And handled by Bruno well. And this one's going to go, and Auth handles it. At the net, spike attempt for the Saints, and it's not going to fall. Beautiful play by Auth. And they're able to return it, but Auth definitely saved a point there. This is going to go right back to her. Her spike attempt, and it's a point for the Bulldogs. Off the hand of one of the St. Ray's players. And look at the mileage on this one, out of bounds. It goes off her hands. The Saints didn't know it, I don't believe, at first. But it's a Bulldog 2-1 lead. And what I was saying about you can't really go on a run. You can't allow a team to go on a run. You go on a run, and before you know it, a team's pretty close to 15. Donato into the net. And the Saints excited, knotted at 2. Not the game, folks. Everything on the line. Will nerves be a factor? Will seniors be a factor? There are more seniors on this St. Ray's team. That could go either way, having not played the game 5, but they're seniors. And off the net, the Bulldogs somehow keep it alive, and Auth returns it. Beautiful job by the Bulldogs. And Auth with the set, and Storr returns it. Saints, again, getting into their offense, doing a nice job. Arnold. Donato mishandles it, gives the Saints the point, 3-2. These players know how close 15 is. 3-2 Saints, back and forth to start. Game 5, why wouldn't it be? Bulldogs in the blue on your right, Saints right in front of you. Set to serve, trying to stretch the lead. They came into this gym, stormed into this gym, and took the Bulldogs down in Game 1 and Game 2. They only needed one more. The Bulldogs have had nothing of it, taking Game 3 and Game 4 by a couple more points. The official possibly speaking to someone in the crowd. That generally works in the opposite direction. We'll see what it was about, though. I'm not so sure. Regardless, doesn't change anything on the court. And what we're watching here is Game 5. Someone's going to move on to Cumberland and play in the quarterfinal round, and they return the favor. The Saints right into the net can. The Bulldogs capitalize, tied up at 3, which really means we're playing in a race to 12, win by 2. See how close it gets, see how fast it gets. Riley Pelican, the junior, serving for the Bulldogs. In, right into the net it goes. You got to think some of this is pressure, folks. 4-3, Saints lead. And with a unique approach, Olivia Di Macedo is one of the more effective servers for the Saints. And this one to the back line, and it's an ace. As I was saying, she's had a good night, and this gives the Saints team a little bit of excitement here, 5-3. Number 13 set to serve. And to the back line it goes, handled by Arnold, brought back in by Storr. Saved by Storr effectively. Donato dumped it over. Bulldogs out of sync, and the block saved by Arnold. And this one goes to Bruno, and she puts power on the dugout by the Saints. Saints are playing well. And they try to find a spot. Nice job by Tinkerelli. Donato to Auth, and Auth saves the day. Oh, they keep it alive, saying they can't return it. Bulldogs much needed side out. Folks, 6-3 doesn't sound like much, but it is a lot. 5-4 right now. The Bulldogs trail by 1. Lila Auth, number 15, set to serve. The whistle and the serve. A beauty, drops to the back line. And again, they're into their offense. Tipped at the net. Bulldogs stay alive. Storr. Nice job of returning it, and the Saints try to. Out of bounds it goes. The Bulldogs with 2 in a row. Even it up at 5. It's a race. Whoever gets the next 10 points first, win by 2, escapes this play-in game and moves on to the quarterfinals. Looking for another. The speed on that serve, hard to handle. It's blocked at the net. They are able to return it. Federico again blocked again at the net. This time the Saints get it to fall. 6-5, Saints take the lead with the serve. Number 15 for the Saints, Sadie Lallier. The whistle and the serve just overhandled. Donato back to Federico, and that is kept alive, but a bad miscommunication by the Saints. It's something like that that you need as a team to take and fuel you to continue your season. So a little mistake like that or a fall into the net, it's something like that that you need to grab onto, and you need to do it right now because we're halfway through the last game already, folks. Alex Storr, no one better, set to serve for the Bulldogs. Several different styles. Drops that one into the back line. The bump set. Spike attempt handled by Arnold. Back to Storr. Bruno with the overhand. Handled by the Saints. They're making it difficult. They're playing well. Storr back to Bruno, one of the best overhands on the team. They have a hard time handling it, but do. And a nice bump set from behind. Arnold handles it. Great volley. Storr to Federico. Can she put it down? It does. And a big volley for the Bulldogs to not only win, but take the lead. And does that spring load him? Does that spearhead him? It is time to see. I'm the voice, Greg Moran, alongside producer, owner Shane Belanger. We have Lisa and True behind the lens. Westerly.live, Westerly.radio, and it does not get more exciting than this. The serve. Dug out by the back line. The Bulldogs put it down. And another point. And you hear this excitement, folks, because this is playoff action. When we bring it to you now, this fall regular season stuff's all over with. What we bring to you this week and next week, it is do or die. Game 5 from the depths, down 0-2, and an ace out of Alex Storr, 9-6. And the timeout to try to break momentum. That is exactly what you wanted to force out of the Bulldogs, is that timeout from the St. Ray Saints. That proves what you've done is you've put them on their heels here in Game 5. A place they haven't been in a Game 5 all year, and their first one comes in with the season on the line. Folks, in Game 3, I'm like anybody else. I know this Bulldog team was capable of a comeback, but do you think it's going to happen? You're kind of shell-shocked after dropping Game 1 and Game 2. Not these girls. They yeoman-like, workman-like job in Game 3 to fight through that victory. You had to go 1 point at a time, and they did. They did the same thing in more convincing fashion in Game 4. And I'm telling you right now, folks, this is Game 5, and this is scrap it out. Whatever you got to do, volleyball or in any sport when you're against elimination like this, and they may not be as in sync as they were in Game 4. They're up 9-6. They're 6 points away from moving on, and I'm excited. Waiting for the whistle, Alex Storr, number 9. The serve, and it is bumped, and they're going to have to dump it over. Did they carry? No, fortunate. And Storr keeps it alive. The overhand by Bruno into the net, so they get the side out they needed out of the timeout, 9-7. Saints set to serve, seemingly always Morgan Fontaine, serving again. Trailing by 2. Folks, we're playing to 15, and Bulldogs need only 6 more. Of course, the Saints only need 8. And the serve to the back end, handled by Ciccarelli well. Storr to Tenuta, tries to put it down, and does. Man, what a senior effort out of Ava Tenuta tonight, in every game. She has been on the money, forces the side out, puts the Bulldogs in double digits. Summer Bruno set to serve, and she has an absolute cannon. She's got a knuckleball, several different options, and we may have a substitution at service, and we do. In comes number 28, Emily Caracciolo. Set to serve, right into the fire she goes. And that's what you get out of the Bulldogs. All of these women are multi-sport athletes. They don't feel pressure, and this Bulldog team's done it all night to serve. From the bench, a beauty. And they do get a nice set up to Saints, and out of bounds. No, they hit it inbound. Nice spot by the Saints. Side out, 10-8. This one's going to go down to it, folks. Number 9, set to serve, Olivia Harris. She's a senior setter for the Saints. The Bulldogs need 5 points to complete this amazing comeback if they can do it. The serve, sliding forward, Bruno. Storr brings it back, Bruno brings it back over. The Saints get into their offense. Spike attempt tipped at the net. Arnold, Tenuta, and the Bulldogs able to return off the hand of Federico. Again, Federico. This time it's Tenuta, and she finds the floor again. Ava Tenuta, number 22. No pressure on the faces of these Bulldogs all night long. 11-8. They need 4 more. Number 21, the captain, the senior, who's just going to switch to a basketball when this season ends, fires in the ace. 12-8. Now the gym's alive. And a timeout for St. Ray's. That's going to be a minute timeout, folks. We're going to go to a quick one. All right, folks, it doesn't get better than this. Holy smokes. It is a Tuesday night, and what is there better to do than watch high school sports here in Westerly, folks? The Westerly ladies volleyball team, there's no quit resilience out of Coach Beal's team. I've seen Westerly never ceases to amaze me, the teams they put out on the field, but these women tonight, what they've done is second to none. There's no quit attitude. They're serving 12-8, 3 away from the comeback. Federico, a beauty. The bump set by the Saints. Tipped at the net. Federico to Storr. And Peliquin hesitated for a second, but did succeed in return the set. And the spike attempt, again, that's going to be good. And the Saints inch closer, 12-9. So the Bulldogs looking for a quick side out here. I feel the pressure, they don't. All the way down to it. I did not think this was going to be the case. I thought there was a chance. And the serve off the net, handled by Tenuta. Did it stay in? It did not. Another point by the Saints. Tenuta slides in and tries to save, but that was a nice serve, an ace. So the Saints not showing much for nerves here in Game 5. They got a little out of whack in Game 4. I would say they've gotten into their offense better here in Game 5 than the Bulldogs, but the Bulldogs do hold a 2-point lead. And this serve off the net makes its way over, and Auth returns it, finds the open spot on the floor. Correction, that was Peliquin. Returns it, finds the open spot on the floor. No, that was Auth. I had it right the first time. Needless to say, regardless, side out for the Bulldogs. 13-10 the score. Abigail Donato to serve, the setter with such control. And that's an ace. Match point for this Lady Bulldog team. And man, am I impressed. Down 2 games to none. On the brink of elimination. 1 point away the serve. Handled in the back line. The Saints try at the net, and they will force another. Side out, 14-11. The Saints need 3 more to stay alive. A side out ends it for the Bulldogs and completes a phenomenal comeback. There's going to be a substitution from St. Ray's off the bench to serve. Well, you never know. You never know. Coming off cold. An unforced error ends it. 14-11 Game 5. Here we go. Off the bench, the serve. Drop to the back. Handled by Storr. Donato to Auth. The spike drop. Bulldogs win the match. The play-in match, the playoff match, whatever you want to call it. Folks, this Lady Bulldog team was down 2 games to none on the brink of elimination. Game 3, 25-21. Game 4, 25-19. And Game 5, 15-11. Ice in their veins. Great play by their senior leaders, captains. Great play all around by this Bulldog squad. Folks, Westerly.live, Westerly.radio. When we're bringing it to you from here out, it's do or die. And this Ladies Bulldog team just brought it tonight. What a fantastic output. Their next opponent, the Cumberland Clippers. Man, this Bulldog team's a buzzsaw. They've been to 5 games before. I thought it would matter. It did. Congratulations to the Lady Bulldogs. Now, folks, we are on to Thursday night, 6 p.m., Sal Orgiri Field. The Lady Bulldog soccer team take their regular season division title, put it on the line. 6 p.m., tune in. We will be there live.